Welcome back to the Candle Business Pro podcast. I am your host, Sabastian Garza. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I'm excited. Today, we are doing another viewer submitted question episode. I have 5 questions that viewers like yourself have submitted. If you want to submit questions, you can do so if you're watching on YouTube in the comments below, or you can come and hop inside of our free Facebook group where I will make a post asking for questions. So let's get into this. All right, so the first question here is from Sam Bam Violet. And the question is, which is better, candles or wax melts? Okay, so great question. And I don't know the background of what you're asking for. So let me answer 2 different ways. If you're talking about what's better to build and sell, then it's going to be candles. You're going to sell far more candles than wax melts. But wax melts is a very good business. And I in fact, know some successful makers that just do wax melts. In fact, someone inside of our Inner Circle group does wickless candles, and their entire brand is wickless candles, and they do really well. They have a storefront in Virginia. She's fantastic. So there's different ways of going about a business. It's more about what niche you want to be in, and you just lean into it really hard. But if you're talking about just what's going to sell more, candles are going to sell easier because you're hitting a wider range of potential customers. Now, if your question is actually about what's easier or what is better, candles or wax melts to make, wax melts are generally going to be easier to make. We're not worrying about wicks. We're not worrying about wet spots. We're not worrying about sinkholes. We're not worrying about all of those things that are potential with candles inside of a wax melt. So depending on what you're actually asking here. If you're asking what's easier to sell, I would lean towards candles. If you're asking what is better to make, I would lean towards wax melts. However, candles and wax melts usually go pretty hand in hand. So I would recommend, if you're going to sell candles, to also sell wax melts, because we do sell a lot of wax melts. So just keep that in mind, that those usually can go pretty hand in hand. Now, it is a different kind of wax. So you are going to have to buy more product, supplies to do that. If you're first starting out, I would recommend you stick with one thing, stick with candles, make candles, learn candles in and out, sell candles. Once you have customers that will buy those candles, that proves that you have a sustainable product that you can sell. Then start adding in the additional products in the future. But trying to do it all at once before you've figured out if you have a following or not that wants to buy that product, can end up costing you a lot of money. So I'd recommend just starting with one of those. Next question here is from Jay Kelly. How do I market to make sales? Well, you have to go where your customers are. Okay. So if your customers are heavy social media shoppers, then make sure that you have a really good social media presence and make sure that you're on the platforms that they are, right? If you're trying to sell to people that spend lots of time and spend money, say on TikTok, well, then you got to be on TikTok, right? But if they are only on Instagram or Facebook, then be there. There's so many different ways of selling candle. Once you have a viable product, there's so many different ways of selling a product. I would recommend doing markets, setting up, doing markets, figuring out which one of those work and don't work for you. It's a learning curve to know which type of markets to do. Sometimes we are underpriced. Sometimes we are way overpriced for a specific kind of market. You also, can get into wholesale. Wholesale, you're not really marketing yourself. You have to have a really nice website, just to show that you have a presence. You need to have your social media handles, set up so that, because they're going to check to make sure that they can trust that they're going to get their products when they buy from you. But you can get into wholesale without having any customers. That's exactly what we did. Because when we launched our brand, it was February in Michigan. It's like negative outside. We're not doing markets at that time. And your website's not going to get traffic right away until you build up a following and your SEO and all of that stuff starts to work for your website. So getting into wholesale is an easy route. You create a catalog with all of your products and you just send it out, start locally and keep expanding to different markets. That's what we have, 160 wholesale accounts now, and we just keep growing with that. But we prefer direct to customer because we're getting full profit on that. We're not splitting that sell with anyone. But when we first started, we didn't have any followers, didn't have any customers to buy from us besides our friends and family. But after that first weekend of them supporting us, it kind of goes away. And so we got right into wholesale. And now we can play the game of, hey, it's right now, where it's January to April is for us is slow, direct to customer. And so that's where I'll lean heavy into wholesale. And then we get into our busy season. So then I scale back on wholesale because you can't do everything. Once you have a product, there's so many different ways of selling it. There's wholesale, there's private labeling, there's corporate gifting. We talk about all of this almost all the time inside of our inner circle. And it's fascinating to see the different members that have different ways of selling their products, where fundraisers, that's fantastic. I do workshops and I talk about this all the time. It was one of the ways that we got our brand out here in the local community quickest. So hopefully those gives you some ideas of ways that you can sell your products. Next question here is from John Rushing, and that is how to stay motivated to work on your business when you're seeing no results. I'm finding it difficult to do, but I know it is a slow build. You're right. It is a slow build. You have to have a passion for your brand. You have to be proud of your brand. You have to want to do it even during this time where we're not just like bringing in all this revenue and income, right? You have to, I don't want to say like you have to be okay with not making money because we're in this to make money. But when we're first starting, you have to have enough passion about it to where it doesn't die out real quick, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm going to try to start making this. And then, because I see people that'll get into the candle making and they'll just try it for a couple of months and then they get out and then they buy a laser engraving machine. And now they're like making tumblers that they're inscribing stuff on, right? And then that doesn't do great. And then they try something else and they try something else. And then now they're 3D printing stuff. And they change it all up to kind of like what they think might be a trend. But oftentimes, like we'll see a trend and it's almost before we recognize that it's a trend, it means it's kind of getting saturated in there. So no matter what of these crafts you wanted to go into, you can be successful, but you have to have enough passion to get through the grunt work of it, right? Of getting your brand out there over and over and over again. If you're going to do wholesale, reaching out to stores over and over again and figuring out what works for you. With wholesale, like we teach that in our wholesale course of like giving you the email templates and the follow-up emails and the spreadsheets and the actual catalog for you to make your own and all of that stuff to make it easier for you so that people have a much higher success rate than just trying it. But you got to figure what's going to be your passion. What way do you want to even sell candles? It's one thing to have a product. Sure, we can all make this candle. How do you want to sell it? The way you want to be successful and the way I want to be successful could be completely different. So really lean into how you want to get your product out there to the world. Generally, if we're going to say, oh, I just want it to be direct sales through my website, that's fine. But then you need to have one of two other skills. You need to have a social media skill to be able to draw and send traffic to that website, or you need to have a ads skill set. Whether you're going to run meta ads through Facebook and Instagram, or you're going to do Google ads, either way, you have to get traffic to your website. That's until it just takes off to where you have organic traffic through, search engine optimization and all of that. You have to drive that traffic. So we have to learn new skills. We just have to. So I see people say, I'm not good at social media. Well, you got to get good at it. You got to figure out, well, I'm not good at social media, but I do enough. I do enough to get by. There's plenty of free resources out there on learning how to do all of this. So once you have a brand and you need to sell it on Instagram and you don't know how, because we don't want to try Instagram, say, and I'm just using Instagram as an example. You could do any of the social media platforms. Spend a Saturday on YouTube learning the ins and outs of these platforms and pick up that skill. If you're not good at designing your own labels, but you have to design your own labels for cost, totally fine. Spend a day learning Canva. You can get a free Canva account. We pay for the pro version, which is like $12.99, or we pay by the year, which is like, I don't know, $96 or something for the entire year. They give you a discount, I believe. Like, there's plenty of tutorials out there. They teach you how to use it. So often we just want the answer to be there, and that usually isn't. We usually have to pick up new skills. I'm learning new skills all the time. I host a candle making and a candle business community, but I myself am sharpening my business skills by being in masterminds and other communities myself that I pay a substantial amount of money to be into, but that's where I'm learning some of my stuff. And I can hopefully bring some of that back here to this channel. Next question here is from Shakara Deuce. And Shakara's question is, what advice would you give on promoting your business online, especially when customers can't smell your product? Okay, so almost everything I've talked about before, I should have maybe read that question to tie it in there. You've got to be consistent. You got to keep showing up, but you have to give your customers the vision or the nose of what it's going to smell like. I do understand, especially when we're first starting out, we tend to say, oh, I'm not getting any online sales because I sell candles and it is hard for people to buy something without smelling it. And I understand that to an extent, but think about all the other stuff that we buy online that we don't know if we're going to like. For instance, I've been on this kick of buying sugar-free like candy, right? Like I love gummy bears. Gummy bears are like my crutch, right? And I eat way too many of them. And I can compare any gummy bear on the market. And I can tell you what's good, what's not good, what flavor, all that stuff, right? But they're not healthy for me, okay? Deceptive marketing practices where it says sugar-free, like on the packaging. Well, it might be sugar-free, but it's not fat-free. It's not healthy. But I've been trying all these different brands, but I don't know what they're going to taste like. Some of them are garbage. Some of them are horrible. Same thing with like a protein shakes, right? If anyone, watching or listening today, if you've taken protein shakes, it's a wide variety of what those are going to taste like. And then also things like protein bars or like granola bars, those like healthy things, right? We see an ad online, we order it, and we have no idea if we're going to like it or not. We have an idea based on the ingredients. Okay, well, this granola bar is peanuts, peanut butter, and a line of chocolate and some dried fruit. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. There's so many different kinds of that stuff. And I see Chad, he will buy all of these and he'll try a couple and they're gross. And then he discards them and then he just doesn't buy it from them again. So there's lots of different ways or lots of different things that we buy without knowing if we're going to like it. With candles, it's scent. Usually people are going to be a little bit more receptive to a scent than repulsed from a scent. So you're going to have a higher percentage of people liking that candle versus not. I don't think we've ever had anyone that said like, I don't like this scent. We would have, this scent burns lighter than I expected it to, something like that, but not like, oh, I don't like that scent. But in our scent descriptions on our website, we should be getting them a really, really good idea in our descriptions of what that candle is going to smell like. But I wouldn't overthink it too much. They're going to want to buy from you based on your branding. And when I say branding, I don't mean your logos and your label. That's just one of 7 different key areas of branding. I'm talking about the communication. I'm talking about your values, your mission, all of that. We do a branding workshop inside of the Inner Circle. So if you are a member of the Inner Circle, I highly recommend checking out the branding workshop to cover all of those because your logo doesn't matter. Your presentation matters. But your packaging, the box that you're going to put your candle in, that's not going to matter nearly as much when it comes to that. But now I'm getting off topic from your question. Next question, and the last question for this episode here today is from CC. I'm going to mess up your last name, CC. I apologize for this. CC Costa de Nova. CC Costa de Nova. And your question here today is how to grow in the months that are slow after Christmas. How to keep steady orders coming through. Okay, great question. And I kind of touched on this a little bit ago. For us, January to April are our slowest months direct to consumers. It's just people aren't buying candles. They probably got a lot of candles at Christmas. People gift candles at Christmas a lot of times. So candle season, October, November, December, those are the prime months for us. But then we pay for that January, February, March, or even through April for us. And those are going to be our slowest months. That's where we pivot. And I go all in on wholesale. I am reaching out to people, getting my catalog in front of them, following up and getting those wholesale orders. So during the slow months, I pull back on the direct to consumer and I go heavier into wholesale. I also go heavier into private label for stores. And I also go heavy into corporate gifting because a lot of businesses, they have a fiscal year that ends generally on December 31st. So then they have new budgets in January. So when you have a new budget in a company, and you're planning out all types of events, team building, culture building events for your company. This is going to be like an HR director, or it's going to be a director of marketing. They're going to have a budget to spend. And we've all worked places, most likely, that we were given something just as a morale booster or a Christmas gift from our employer. That was a t-shirt or a zipper jacket. Or I remember when I worked for a public hospital in Indianapolis, we got like a shower radio. It was like Bluetooth or something. It was a worse radio. The value on it was like, they cost like $6, right? Like, so the quality of it, but it was fun. It was a fun shower radio. And they had the branding on it, right? So they have their budgets now this time of year, January through April, where that's when we want to get our products in front of all these corporations and say, hey, would you like us to make, candles for you with your branding on there? That's how we have done a lot of our big accounts, right? Is from like we sell annually to, there's a national car wash chain. It's called Quality Car Wash, and they are all over the US, but they're headquartered locally here. And it was making a relationship with them. And now every year they buy 300 and now up to like 350 full-size candles from us that have their branding on it that they send out to all of their franchisees across the country as like a thank you gift. They put like their annual report along with it. I think like a bottle of wine, right? So they have this presentation that they send out to all of their franchise owners. Our candles in there. And what's great about that is it's marketing for us too, right? Because now those candles have gone out to 350 different car washes in the country. And now we've got the car wash individually calling us saying, hey, we want to sell that candle inside of our car wash. Great. So now we're selling to them. Now they don't sell a lot. Most customers, we go to a car wash, we don't end up buying a candle while we're there, but they like them in their store and they're gifting them out to their VIPs and they're probably selling a few of them. So you can do so much more with your business in these slow months. The other types of corporate gifting that we've done is we have done it for like senior living facilities, right? As staff building or team building gifts, right? Because they're overworked, underpaid, and so their marketing or their director will buy these from us to give out to their staff, right? And then they see how well it does amongst them, and they appreciate it. They talk about it on conference calls, and then other regional managers call us wanting candles as well. So it's getting out there and selling your candles in other ways besides direct to consumer. And we have workshops on all of this inside of the Inner Circle. So it might be something that you would want to check out the Inner Circle for. You can see in the show notes below links to join that community, or you can just check out the Inner Circle at candlebusinesspro.com. Hopefully this episode has helped someone out here. Again, there's plenty of free resources in the show notes below and on our website. And you can always hop into our Facebook group and ask questions that I will then in turn come and talk about on an upcoming episode. Thank you so much for being here. As always, every single week, I like to put out an episode. And because of you, I am able to continue to do that. So thank you so much for being in here and tuning in. Have a fantastic rest of your week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.